We're live, I believe.
Yay! Awesome.
Amazing.
Manny sounds thrilled to be alive right now.
Exactly.
Oh man, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. A little tired, but good.
Chuck, it seems like it's been a long week.
You've been getting emails from me?
I have been getting emails from you.
Yep.
You long hair in the process too.
Yeah, I cut my hair.
I know. It's been a really long week then.
Yeah, it all fell out. If for those that get audio only, I went back to shaving. In other words, I ordered a Harry's handle for all the blades that I have sitting in my bathroom. My kids, I think, lost my handle, or I lost it when I was traveling or something.
Is that really why you stopped shaving?
Well, that and I got there were other reasons.
Okay.
The reason I never replaced it was because I was completely overwhelmed with life.
Gotcha.
And things are getting much better. So it's funny because I've had a few people reach out to me. Dude, you sounded really down on Entreprogrammers. I'm like, yeah, things are tough, but things have been going really well, of course. Then this week, I've got a bunch of work done on this rough draft of my book, and I put it up for a pre-sale because somebody told me I ought to, and I didn't make sure that WooCommerce worked. So I had people adding it to the cart, and then nothing would happen. And so they couldn't actually.
My cart abandonment rate is 100%. I really suck. People hate me.
Yeah, they click view cart, and it would take them to the homepage. So I went online and figured that out.
What was the problem with that?
So WooCommerce, how do I put it? So they will generate pages for you for like your shopping cart and things like that, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that, then you have to put one up on your own. But the tutorial that I went through never actually told me to do that.
Oh, okay.
And so,
because the guy isn't selling anything.
Yeah, I guess. So anyway, so I found somebody said, yeah, just go make it generate the page. And so I went and made it generate the cart page and the needed. And then people could add stuff to the cart and actually see their cart. So I had like 3 people email me. So I was like, okay, well, go try it now. And then I got the email back. Yeah, well, since I had clicked add to cart like 6 times, now I have 6 of them in my cart.
Just buy now. Just check out, and it'll all be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I kind of tongue in cheek said that, but you know, they're programmers. They're smart enough to figure out that you can change it and then check out for one. Yeah. So it was funny because I got that all working, and I sold 2 within like 5 minutes, and neither of them were people that were emailing me.
Chuck, on that real quick, with digital stuff, you can set WooCommerce to only allow one purchase, like a single purchase on an item.
Ooh, I should do that because the way that I have it set up is you buy it and you get access to the page that tells you how to download it. So
yes, yeah.
So buying more than one does not actually help anybody.
It helps you quite a bit, actually.
yeah, that's true. So I've had a few people ask me some questions about the course. So I'm probably going to send another email out on Monday and just say, hey, quick reminder, since I messed up the shopping cart part, I extended the deadline till Wednesday. You can still buy it. Here are a couple of questions I'm getting about the course.
Good.
And that way I can kind of take advantage of the fact that I extended the deadline. And yeah. But so far I've sold 8 copies.
In how many hours?
About 24, not quite 24 hours.
Of the book or the course?
The book, not the course.
Yeah, since you fixed the shopping cart.
Yeah.
And I've had how many emails have you sent out?
3? 4, including the oops.
The oops is honestly the only one that counts at this point.
What's your open and click-through rate on emails?
I don't know.
What are you using for email?
Script.
Josh, how can you find his open rates?
Well, they'll be right. Are you sending broadcast or can't? Is this a
Probably a
broadcast.
broadcast? Yeah, it'll be right there in the broadcasts, like report.
Yeah, I'm just
so.
opening it up to click through to it.
Because that's a good indicator of like how responsive your list is right now, since it's cold in the sense you haven't really emailed them in a long time.
Right. So 22.6%, 23.1%, 20.5%.
Not bad. Not
Yeah.
bad. How many people clicked, or what's the click through?
Oh, the click-throughs, it's hanging around 1%.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. And so how many clicks, or what's the total list size then? 10,000 you said?
It's 15,500.
So 150, 600 clicks
150.
multiplied by 4 emails, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true.
They're going to be different people. Or they're going to be a lot of them are going to be the same people.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, just for stats purposes, how many clicks after the oops or oops and onwards?
That sounds like a band name, a rock band. Oops and onwards.
That's, I mean, the first email or oops email, and then the email after that. How many
Yeah.
clicks on that?
You
149 and
you might be better off looking at Google Analytics and just seeing how many page views there have been
yeah.
since you
Looks
sent
like it's
that
about
out.
1.8.
So
That's
two
a
emails
pretty-
you sent out. 2 emails you sent out.
Yeah. Well, one's a resend to list, and it's the get the 50% off.
Oh, okay.
Resend unopens. So
I would just seems like a total of 500 clicks, because people who weren't able to buy the first time around were still interested, and they went second time
Yeah.
around to buy it, right? Yeah. What's the price point?
$12.50.
And that's the discounted price.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny because I got a couple of emails from people about the course, and like 2 or 3 of them said, I was guessing it was going to be around $500, and it looks like the regular price is $500. So I think I'm matching people's expectations there as far as what it's going to cost. So
You might want to work on the sales page of the book. 8 sales.
Yeah, but it's pretty tainted.
Yeah,
It's
the
pretty
data is not clear,
tainted.
but-
I mean, the 8 sales with if he's had like around 150 to 200 page views since yesterday, 8 sales is not bad at all.
yeah.
That would be like 4 to 5%. And
Yeah, well, and
the deadline's not really that close yet. I mean, we're still like 4 days out from the deadline.
yeah. The other thing is that I feel like I've already learned a lot from this. So the next launch that I do, I should be able to do a whole lot better on it.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, I still want to declare victory on this, but
It's true. Is there like some sort of, I know Josh doesn't agree with it, but is there some sort of timer on the sales page that says expiring?
No, I don't disagree with it. I just it's not like something that's going to triple your conversion rate.
Not
Hang on,
triple,
let me
but everything,
it
there's
helps.
nothing that will triple the conversion. But yeah.
all right. So
it helps.
the other
Or-
thing is that that's embarrassing. Is I didn't actually send people from that email to my landing page. I just realized I sent them directly to the link to add the book to the cart. So
Welcome to selling products online.
Yes.
so if I send them to the landing page, I probably get better conversion.
Sometimes I have to think that the sponsorship side of things is so much simpler, which is true. Advertising is the simplest.
Yeah.
Sponsorship is the next level of simplicity. Selling your own products is absolutely the most complex thing you do
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
business like this.
Yeah, but see,
Yes.
the thing is that the selling of products gets me further down the road of where I want to wind up.
Yes.
So it's worth it to me to go through the pain.
Actually, Manny, there's a level above that, which is selling subscription products.
Yeah, so actually, I want to talk to you about it because I'm thinking of starting that in the next probably a week and a half or so.
Okay.
So maybe after Chuck's done, I would love to hear what are some of your key takeaways because subscription should be easier. We're selling a cheaper product compared to your usual. Why is it harder? Like, what the hell's going on here, right?
You're trying to sell somebody on commitment there. I mean, that's
Yes, and men have no issues with that whatsoever. So.
Only women. Thankfully, only 90% of my audience is men.
Oh man.
So Chuck, well, yeah. So welcome to the club.
Yep.
You've officially made about 4 of the 10,000 mistakes that I've made. So
yeah, well, that's
Only-
the thing, right? Is I'm
Yeah.
sure I will keep making these mistakes, but the issue is like I've heard you make a lot of these mistakes, and,
Right.
and so people would think, oh, well, you're not going to make that mistake. But the problem with that kind of thinking is a lot of these things, like checking your shopping cart works, right?
Right.
It's just kind of a no brainer thing, and so I didn't think about it.
Well, and there's also there are so many moving parts to something like this. Even a really simple offer. I mean, there's a ton of moving parts, and you'll find. I mean, sometimes you'll upgrade a plugin in WooCommerce, and things will go squirrely on you, and you won't know. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pieces that have to all work together. I had a boneheaded issue this last weekend because I. Do you have anything else, Chuck, or because I could?
I'll share
can
another
save this.
squirrely issue.
Okay, go
So,
for it. Go for it.
After I got WooCommerce working,
Okay.
if you can't hear the air quotes in my voice, working, I went to the view the cart page and it was all kinds of screwed up. And I'm like, what is going on? And finally, what I figured out was that I kept getting warnings in my system that the version of Newspaper, which is the WordPress theme that I'm using, had outdated theme pages for WooCommerce.
Okay.
It comes with WooCommerce pages built in.
Okay. All right.
So if you saw WooCommerce, I had to go figure out how to update it. The problem with that is that when I updated Newspaper, and I had to do it by hand, I had to upload the zip file myself and unzip it over the top of the other one because uploading it said, no, I can't do that.
You couldn't update it automatically using WordPress?
No. So I got in and I put that in and then my front page was screwed up. 'Cause I
Whack-a-mole.
upgraded my theme. And I'm sitting there going, okay, so do I have to update my child theme? Because I'm running a child theme, right? That's customized for DevChat. Or, whatever. So I finally dove in and I'm like, oh, okay. So essentially what I wound up having to do was to get WooCommerce to look right, I had to update the base theme, which made my front page look wrong. And so I had to go in and I had to actually reinstall the theme's visual editor and then go in and update my front page and basically
This
just save
sounds
it
like-
how it was.
This sounds like every day for me. I'm getting flashbacks to iOS development. Oh my gosh! Like,
yeah.
Dude,
So,
my website went crashing down for 2 days this week. And it's just horrible. And what
okay,
you're
so the
what you're telling me
takeaway
is-
for everyone listening is don't start your own business. Really, don't do it.
well, the thing is if I can make enough of this chug forward, then I'm in good shape. So I've also got Michelle working on remote conferences again, and we're just going to run those through devchat.tv at this point because I'll just run it through WooCommerce. So I'll put up a landing page
Oh,
that
nice.
takes
Yeah, there
you
you
to the
go.
order page. You add it to the cart, blah blah blah, right?
Yep.
And off you go.
Nice. You will love once you get WooCommerce set up the way you want and it's all working. Like the ability to just go in and go, "Hey, I would like to do this," and just being able to go slap it in there. So nice. It's
Yeah, it
amazing.
has been it has been way nicer than anything else I've tried to use. So, but yeah, I'm also going to have her pull in all of the past remote conferences and then just set up the sales for those videos for like $5.
Cool.
And what that'll do is then it gets the people who are willing to pay something for that content in there. And then I'm going to set up, I have, I think it's Automate Woo. And I need to figure out how to get that to add those people and tag them in Drip. And that way I can just email people who have the tickets.
Okay. I've got that. The way I'm currently doing that is I use the Drip plugin. So there's a Drip plugin for WooCommerce. And it triggers when there's a sale. I think I paid for it. I think it's like $50 or $75. And then I customized it with a function, like a custom function, so that it filters out. So basically what I'm doing is by default, it just sticks a customer tag on people and throws them into Drip.
Yeah.
And what I want is to be able to tag people with the product they bought.
Yes.
So I clear out that customer tag, and I set a custom field with the SKU, the number of the product that they bought, like the ID number of the product. And then in Drip, I just have a workflow that when that products field gets updated, it goes through and looks at all the different numbers in the field and pulls out the new ones and tags people.
Tags them with a human readable.
Yes. Yep. So it's a little bit of a pain because you do have to like maintain that, and if you add a new product, you've got to update it and stuff. But it's worked really well.
Yep. Yeah, and then the other thing that I'm dealing with at this point is, and this is something that I think is going to be my focus for the next 6 months. But my business coach, Scott, he in our coaching call on Thursday, and it's a group coaching call. It wasn't a one-on-one. But he basically said that they're going to add a capstone to the project or to the process that we work through. And the capstone is that you have to take a month off and not touch your business, and it has to run without you.
Oh, that's really good.
For the next 6 months, that's what I'm working toward, is getting things to that point. So that and I was like, so that means I can't show up and record podcasts? He's like, nope. And so, I've got to get my co-hosts to the point where they can do the shows without me, and that everything will run properly, and that and so if I pull all that together and make that happen, then in June I think I'm going to take my family to Italy for a month, and we will just not touch work.
I think John took the same training, but it was more like, how can I not touch the business for life and still carry on?
Yeah, and all he had to do was bring on a partner.
Yeah, how can I be on a show for entrepreneurs and not have to be there?
Yeah. How can I make Josh do all my work? Oh wait. Yeah. But the funny thing is like I was looking at some of this, and so I just recorded. This is another thing that I ran into. So I recorded 5 episodes of JavaScript Rants, which is a show I want to put on YouTube, and so I just sat down and I just recorded 6, and I hated the way that it turned out. So I think I'm going to sit down and be a little bit more different about it. But yeah, I really want to get that rolling as well and start growing my audience on YouTube. I feel like I need to be more present on YouTube and Instagram and start drawing people in that way.
Yeah.
And you use your iPhone to...
Why? You're like the podcasting is not as much anymore?
Well, I've been complaining about the numbers for a while, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect things on the sponsors end. But the other thing is that I really want to be able to help more people, and I feel like if I'm in more places, then I can.
Is that going to be like a YouTube is a separate video and it's not going to go on a podcast, or is it
it's
like
going to go on a podcast feed too? So if people want it on a podcast feed, great. But if people want it on YouTube or something like that, then they can just go watch it.
Yeah, my philosophy has now become like, don't start too many content channels. One content channel is enough as long as you can, use the same content on different media outlets. Like that's why video has become my primary. It still goes on podcasts, and podcast still gets thousands of listens, but it doesn't matter. I don't do a special podcast episode ever anymore. It's all video.
Yep.
Then converts to podcast, converts to blog. My writer does the writing for the blog. So I'm hands
that's
off
the plan.
once I do my video.
That's 100% the plan.
Mhm.
It's one pipeline. It's versus a media channel, I would say, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have a primary medium that you're creating for, and
I would
then
say one content channel, whatever you pick, and then you spread that across.
Yeah. I'm also looking, though, at crossing over the other way. So we've been using Zoom to record the podcasts. And so I want to talk to my co-hosts and basically say, look, we're going to start putting the videos up on YouTube. So
It doesn't matter. You could still do Zoom, or you could do.
yeah.
Yeah,
What
that's
I'm
what he's
saying
saying.
is
Yeah.
we've only released audio to this point. And I think
Right.
some people are going to be a little concerned about, how they look and stuff on camera. And
Right.
so I'm just going to let them know, look, we're going to start doing this. We're going to start
Just
releasing
warn
it.
them ahead of time so that when they get up and they come to the podcast in their underwear, they don't get up and like walk.
Yep.
We can
Yeah,
still
exactly.
see you, Josh.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, it's another way of just getting, getting all that stuff out there in multiple places so people can consume it. And then I've also had people asking me how to get it on Spotify or if I can get my podcast on Spotify, and that's been kind of an interesting thing because I've applied. They have an online form, and it just hasn't been working. It seems like if you're going through like Libsyn or Blueberry, but you have to be hosting your files with them, then they may work things out to get you on. So I don't know. Still figuring that piece out, but I hate Libsyn's interface, and I hate Blueberry's more.
It's amazing. I mean, Libsyn is like, it seems like they haven't changed a thing since like 2002.
No, they released version 4 and they just doubled down on the ugly.
No, they created a
Like
new
all-
interface, which is the weirdest thing. Half the interface is beta. I mean, half this interface is old and half the interface is new. And you click and suddenly it goes to the old interface, and then it comes back to the new interface for data analytics,
Yeah.
and then it goes to the old interface. So much crap. So I'm thinking of actually moving to Liquid Web at this point. I'm done with the Bluehost. I think I've outgrown Bluehost at this point. I can't continue. Like, I can't afford to lose days on. Even one day can be crucial for the shit that happens. One day, I mean, hours can be crucial, and it's been like, fuck, I can't afford that.
So are you on shared hosting with Bluehost, or?
I have their highest end of shared hosting. I'm paying like $30 a month, but that's
Okay.
not. I don't. And they're I think I'm thinking Liquid Web or WP Engine. I think Liquid Web probably with managed rather than VPS, managed WordPress. What are you guys doing?
We're on a custom DigitalOcean VPS.
Yeah, I'm on a
VPS.
VPS.
Yeah. So we're running like it's like this custom version that our server guy cooked up. He's got a lot of experience optimizing WordPress. So he's got like, it's a little crazy, honestly. Like he's got a customized, he's got his own custom compile of, not Nginx, but one of the caching layers or something. Like so every so often we'll have an issue where he has to like go recompile something.
That sounds
from
scary,
source.
man. I don't
Yeah,
wanna
it's
get
a little
into that.
scary. It's definitely scary. But we have him on retainer. And he's only like $50 a month, so it's not bad. And he does
He's
like
your WordPress
priority.
guy? He knows all WordPress.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So he does.
Shit. Next time I have WordPress issues, I should just hire him.
If John will let you share him, he doesn't usually let me divulge our vendors on stuff because
but
we
you
go
only-
through this really, really long hiring process. So he doesn't want
You
people.
only have. I mean, I can just pay for a couple of hours and let him do the job and done.
Yeah.
You don't think that will work?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, it might. He's a Linux admin. He's not a WordPress developer. So if you're talking WordPress customizations, like he doesn't really do that, but he does.
Probably
he
not.
basically good at hosting. He's good at the hosting side of the server stuff.
Well, yeah, that's partly the WordPress situation. Like banking on. So let me tell you what I'm trying to do.
What's going
in
on?
Next probably couple of weeks. So one of the things I'm going to do, I have my whole website is right now in 2000books.com/WP. All the content is in the /WP. /WP is one install of WordPress that I have. And I have another install at 2000books.com/members. That was for the membership site I had initially.
Okay.
Since then, /members has lost its utility because now I'm on Teachable, but I still keep it just in case something goes bad with Teachable.
Right. Okay.
But what I'm thinking is I'm going to move up, move 2000books.com/WP, all the content up one level to 2000books.com base, right? So install WordPress in 2000books.com and just go ahead and move everything up there. So not only that, I'm thinking of, so I'm trying to figure out the order of things. There are a few things I want to get done. One of which is this. The other is migrate from Bluehost to Liquid Web, which I think is easier in the whole thing, because I think there are some plugins like all-in-one migration. I don't know if you guys have tried it, all-in-one WP migration and stuff like that. So I could use that. And then the third part of this equation is actually using my new domain, which is 10xbooks.com rather than 2000. So moving everything to 10xbooks.com rather than 2000books.com. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, I just want to maybe hire someone to do all of these in one shot and not fuck up my SEO in the whole process. Do some 301 redirects, maybe, in the HTXS, it's a hard-coded 301. And what do you think? Like, what are the next, like, what is the step-by-step process for me to accomplish all of this?
So you've got like all your sales pages and stuff are under 2000books.com/whatever, right? Or are they all, is it /WP/whatever?
No, yeah, they're mostly under /members.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So they're on a separate install.
Yeah, the content is under /WP, the blog and the podcast and the videos and all that stuff.
Okay. Well,
why rebrand?
I feel like TEDxBooks is so much better when I actually talk to people. Like 10xBooks is so much better than 2000 books. 2000 books sounds like, hey, have you read 2000 books? Is that why you're named to 2000 books? But 10xBooks is more like applicable. Like, hey, I like that idea.
Yeah. It also in a way sounds a little dated because of the 2000, like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Why isn't it 2018 books?
Right. Okay. So if it were me, I probably would not do all this in one shot.
Yeah.
I would probably
move up.
Probably I would get it working in your current environment and then move it all.
So first step is to move from /WP to everything up while keeping the SEO juice the same, right?
Yeah, and I would wait. You might want to wait some time before you declare that a victory, because it takes like a month or two. When I changed the URL structure, it definitely took some time for that to come back. Like,
so what I'm saying is there should be no URL structure change. It should all be a 301 redirect.
But do you have? Yeah, but you are changing the URL structure because you're putting the 301 redirect in place. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the URLs had WP in them before, now they won't. I don't think Google's going to really punish you too much for that. I mean, and I think they might actually like it because they tend to like shorter URLs better. But if it were me, I would probably want to get everything. I would want to do, probably what I would do would be clean up the site the way it is, then move it to a new host, and then do the domain name last.
I agree.
Yeah.
That way you can figure out if there are any issues
in each
Yeah.
of the steps. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would take it like, I would go like, you know, like at least a month to 2 months on that first step, and then like the actual work will probably take a couple of hours.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But then the ramifications, letting that.
But then
all
what's
kind of work
what's the alternative? If it's done at that point, like, am I gonna go back to /WP and mess it up again?
No, probably not. But just throwing all those changes at Google all at once is not a good idea.
I'm thinking maybe I could change the host first and get better quality hosting and better quality support, and actually hand them, like, saying, hey,
The advantage of waiting on that is that you can get the what am I trying to say? If you wait, I forget what I was going to say. Sorry.
Well,
it'll come back to me. But
I think there are a couple of concerns here. One is you know, if you're talking about getting better support, then and you think that'll make a difference with this migration, then it might make sense to switch hosting providers first. The other thing is if you're, you know, you mentioned that Bluehost, you're getting actual downtime on your website, and so that's got to be killing you. So if those are the two issues, I would do that first, and then work on the rebrand and everything second. But I would set both up and have them run side by side for a little while, so that you can fail back over to the original setup for a month or so.
Yeah, that's why.
How do you do that with Google not punishing the fuck out of you having two sites?
It won't matter.
Well, you just have DNS pointing to one or the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've got both of them. They both exist, but there's no traffic going to the old one.
Oh, okay. How do you do that?
Okay, so your URL. So who are you using for DNS? Like, where's your domain name registered?
With Bluehost.
Bluehost. Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Pardon my evil laugh.
Yeah. Okay. So first step then is to get your DNS hosted somewhere else.
Okay.
Because then you have control. So you're not. This is like one of the cardinal rules: is you're not supposed to have your DNS and your host be the same company, because it's probably less of a problem with something like Bluehost. But you know, if you go, hey, can I change my DNS? They're like, oh, are you leaving? Well, we have your site. I mean, they technically, like, you need to work with them to get your DNS transferred over. So they kind of have like control over your site. So I use Namecheap.com. There's a ton of them. We also use Google. We use Google for Simple Programmer. Like, Google has domain name registration. So so that would be step one, would be get that moved, because then it's independent of your hosting, and you can point the site. You could have 10 sites if you wanted, and have something running that syncs all of your your database between all of them, and then you could round robin. I mean, you can do anything you want. So get your DNS somewhere central. Then,
so is this a simple process? How does it work?
It's not super complicated. So you set up an account with a domain registrar, and then basically there's like a process to transfer the registration to a new. It's essentially like transferring ownership almost of a site, and then
that's how you transfer the ownership.
Yeah,
it's the same process. So
yeah.
So what I'm really looking for is transferring the keyword
DNS.
is transferring the DNS from Bluehost to Namecheap. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, or whatever. I mean, I'm not recommending Namecheap per se. That's just the one that I'm currently using. I actually probably would just use Google if I were doing it over. But
Okay.
so yes, you set the DNS up, and then and then you can. I guess the reason I was thinking why I remember why I was thinking you might want to clean things up on your current site first before you do it is that when you do the when you do the cutover, you can kind of like run it as a staging site for a while, and like really kind of you'll have time to kind of make sure everything is working correctly. I guess you could do that either way, but yeah, I would definitely keep both of them, like Chuck's saying, keep both of them active. So don't cancel your Bluehost account. Just cut the traffic over to the new site.
Yeah, well, and if it's running on WordPress, you can tell WordPress to change your robots.txt file so that Google won't index the old site. And so then you won't get dinged for having duplicate content.
You can actually yeah.
Okay, I've never done all of this shit, so I don't want to break shit in the process, but
I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry about the I wouldn't worry too much about the old site hurting you. I don't think it will.
Okay.
We actually had a test instance of simpleprogrammer.com running for a while at test.simpleprogrammer.com, and
I've done that too.
Yeah, and it had all the content, like, and it didn't. I mean, especially as a short-term thing, it shouldn't hurt anything. Okay, so that would be the first step, and then, on getting it moved to the process of moving it from WP to the root shouldn't be too difficult. You'll just be updating your htaccess file or whatever with a rewrite role, which you do have to get right. I think I talked about this, but at one point I accidentally, oh no, this was separate, but I accidentally de-indexed all of Simple Programmer in February.
Oh no.
I told Google, please remove my entire site from your index. And you can see it, like, if you look in Google Analytics, it's like our traffic is like, it's like because I realized it only took me like 3 hours to realize what I'd done. And I fixed it really fast, but yeah, it's you definitely can screw stuff up with that, but it's just a simple, like, the HTTP access or the htaccess file is just it's a pretty simple regex usually, and you'll just be telling it to rewrite all the requests, and then you can and so then Google will pretty quickly figure out that, like, from your sitemap file, especially. Do you have Search Console set up? Like Google Search Console? Yeah. Do you have Google Search Console set up? Okay.
Yeah.
You just submit your new sitemap there, and Google will pretty quickly figure out, like, oh, this page is that old page, and they'll remove the old pages, the old links, and they'll update them with the new, and then you'll see your traffic to the WP version, like, just go way down pretty, like, over a month. It should drop off pretty quickly, and then, like, the 301 after that will just be for anyone who made an external link to your site.
Yeah.
But yeah, because when I made the permalink change, we didn't take a hit at all. And then it increased, if anything, our Google traffic.
What kind of changes were you guys making?
Getting rid of the date in the URL. So it was like simpleprogrammer.com/2010/01/01/ hey, this is a post by John Sonmez.
Yeah.
And I just made it as a post by John Sonmez.
Okay, so you kind of removed 3 folder structures away.
Exactly. Yep.
You did the same thing, more or less. You did an HTSX change.
No, you can just in WordPress you can just change the permalink structure, and it automatically creates redirects for the old pages. They're like
rewrites to your htaccess file.
Yeah. There's no changes, no other changes needed.
Yeah, but it would be good to have both in that case, right?
In that case, there's no reason to really do the htaccess thing.
But
what
when-
we have done is we've gone in lately. We've been going into robots.txt and telling Google anytime you see a URL for Simple Programmer that has, this date format, don't index that URL. Don't crawl it.
But then you can also just set up a rewrite rule in Nginx or Apache for the WP, and just tell it to redirect WP.
Yes, we did have to do that.
And then it just 301 redirects.
Yeah, sorry. There were two steps. There were two steps. One was changing the permalink structure, which is just a setting in WordPress, and then the other was changing Nginx so that it would automatically rewrite any incoming requests to the correct page. I forgot about that step. So which is what we're telling you to do with the htaccess file.
Yeah. Is this all everything your WordPress guy did, or you had to do it?
I did. Basically, I told him what to do. I told this story on the show actually, but he was like, so I made the word. So I was like, okay, I made the change in. I told him what I wanted to do. I said I want to get rid of the date. He's like, oh, okay, you just have to change the permalink structure setting. I'm like, I know about that, but we're also going to need to make the change in Nginx. He's like, I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. I was like, okay. So I changed it, and then I was like, okay, now go test the page, and it didn't work, of course. And he was like, oh, I see what you're doing. This is a terrible idea. Let's stop. Let's not do this. And then I was like, no. Well, then we tried to roll it back, and the site went down basically. And then we ended up it kind of forced our hand, and we just went ahead and made the Nginx change, which I gave him the regex because I found it's a simple regex. And I gave that to him, and he was fiddling with the configuration. But once we had it in place, it was basically exactly what I told him to do. He did it, and it worked great. So it's pretty straightforward.
I'm thinking of hiring a external WordPress group to just do all of these things for me
That's probably a good idea. If you don't want to get involved and figure out all this crap, definitely. I mean, I've been an IT administrator or a programmer for the last 20 years. And so I look at this stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. But if you're confused by any of this, just hire somebody. Just get it done that way.
Yeah. It'll probably cost you a few $100, but it's
which is totally fine.
It's not worth
$300 is better than spending 2 days of my life trying to break everything. I won't fix everything. I'll probably break everything. The engineer that I am, I'll know everything that can be coded up. So in the process, shit will just go down the drain. And probably those guys can do the same things in a few hours that I could do in.
Yeah. It's very straightforward for when you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Like little nuances, even one thing. And now I'm like going around in circles trying to figure it out. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. The htaccess thing can be tricky. You are working with regex. So it's always fun.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to just go with that. Do you guys have any WordPress guys in mind?
I have a guy that I used a really long time ago. He was he was okay. He was a little expensive.
How much?
I think he was like $150 an hour. He was more of a Linux guy who did he knew some WordPress, but I think for this probably makes sense to work with somebody who knows WordPress.
Yeah.
And you probably also WordPress and whatever shared hosting platform you're on, because that's a little different than working with somebody that's used to being on the metal with Linux.
The problem that I have referring anyone is almost all the people I know that do WordPress stuff, they're developers, so they write plugins and stuff for it. They don't do any of the setup and hosting.
Yeah. There's like so many variants. Like you need someone who has more of a bigger picture domain level understanding rather than just writing plugins and customizing WordPress themes and all that crap.
Yeah,
because that's very separate.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna hire. I know who I'm gonna hire. I guess I should just go do that. Let them do all the stuff and sleep like a baby. Because those
Yeah,
2
I have
days
to
were
say,
those 2 days were hell, man. Shit, like so many things that I wanted to do that week just went down the drain.
well, and I've been
Completely
doing a lot of my own WordPress dev, and I'm getting to the point where I just want to hire somebody and just be like, look, I'm just going to come to, I just want you like a week out of every month, and I'll give you another piece of the puzzle to fix one.
Yeah, and it's just like that there are some things we do best. Why do we want to keep like doing random shit other than what we do best?
Because we're control freaks.
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself because I'm a control freak.
Yeah. I used to think, I used to want to do that, but now more and more I feel like the more I indulge in stuff that I don't really have expertise in, the more I'm hurting myself, because I'm just creating mental loops in my head that don't need to be created, and I'm just fracturing my attention space with shit that doesn't need to be there. Like the Bluehost, the hosting thing is, once it's done, it's done. Like I don't have to think about it for a long time. So if I continue to screw it up, and
honestly, Manny, I think where you might want to start would be go to whichever company you're thinking about using, and like they almost certainly have a migration and just migration service, and just tell them, look, I want to go from here to here, and I want to change WP to the root, and like they can probably do all that as part of the migration.
Yeah, probably.
I would not change I would not screw with the domain name for now, but the rest of it you could do in one swoop, and then you could like make sure it's all working right on the new server. You kind of have it in staging mode. You got the old one in standby, and then you cut over, you watch it, and then you've got the other one to go back to if you need to.
Should I still go and get the DNS hosted somewhere else before I approach these guys?
Absolutely.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. Yep. Because then you're not hostage to any. Because they I think, Chuck, they have to release the DNS like as part of this migration. They have to click a button that says release it, and so that's where the holdup could be. Is like potentially they could give you a hard time about releasing the domain.
Yeah.
I don't know that most of them would, but you could have that issue.
They'd be crazy to do it because they'd get a bad rap for when you outgrow it, you can't leave. They won't let you. And then you go find somebody else who's friendly, because everybody has it in their head, even if they're always going to be at the level that Bluehost works great and, whatever. You have it in your head. If I go big, if I get really big and outgrow this, then I'm going to need to move on. So, but yeah, the way that most registrars do it is that they give you a release code, and so you open it up for and say this domain can be transferred, and then you give the code to whoever you're transferring it to. In this case, it'd be you, right? You just type it into Namecheap, and that verifies that you got the information from the person who owns the domain, and then it'll transfer over.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely do that first, and then usually takes a couple days.
Yeah, it depends on the registrars involved.
Okay. Cool. So how's the membership? How's the selling of memberships going, man? Seems
so my little screw up that I wanted to mention. So, so I did find something, Manny, that almost doubled my conversion rate.
Wow.
Which was adding a bonus.
Yes.
So I added the How to Market Yourself course as a bonus on the course this time around. And
we were talking about it last week. Remember?
Yep. Yeah. So last time, and I didn't even make a huge deal out of it in the emails. I mentioned that I did put the PS like we talked about, which I did. I think that helped the conversion or the click-through rate on that email quite a bit. But yeah, I didn't make a huge deal out of it. I just put it on the sales page. The last 2 times I've opened it, enrollment, I've gotten about 55 subscribers. This time I got 89.
Okay.
So at $100,
50%.
Yeah,
it's a sweet deal for anyone who might have considered how to market yourself. It's almost like they buy it for that, and then they find value in this, and kind of works itself.
So yeah, so that rocked. So what didn't rock so much was I figured. So the way that I decided to try to give people access was we're selling through WooCommerce. I'm using Zapier. Whenever I sell a product, I have Zapier webhooks that run on my server. Talk to Zapier, and then that talks to Podia, which is what I'm using to like host all the video delivery. So Podia now has memberships. You can sell memberships, which you can check a box and include any product that you sell in your store with the membership, which is very cool. So I created a membership in Podia, and then I was like, oh crap, I don't know if they support. It looks like they don't. I went into Zapier, and it looks like they don't support the memberships yet, so I couldn't add people to a membership. But then I emailed their support, and they're like, oh yeah, we've got that. It's in our version 1.3 Zap, so I just upgraded to that, and there's the add to, and so I didn't test it.
You guys all know.
The Zap actually says, we think there was a note in the Zap that actually said, we think this is working, we promise. Like it's like, so when you go to hook it up, it says that. So I was like, it's complicated to test because I don't want to like constantly be signing up for memberships on WooCommerce because then I have to refund them and everything. So I decided not to test that last step. Well, of course there was an error with the Zap, and when it talked to Podia, it would just error out. So Zapier disabled. So I'm like getting all these sales, and people are like, "Hey, I can't get access to my product. Where is it? How do I get access?" And like meanwhile, Zapier has disabled the Zap because it was just erroring out every time. So we're getting like all these support emails from people who are like, not mad, but they're just confused. Like, why can't I access this? So finally, I updated the email that was going out when people would buy and say, "Look, I'm having an issue with the automation to give you access to this. I'll get it resolved on Monday." And then I got in on Monday, and I just had the Podia team just manually imported everybody for me, and I gave them all access to it. And then they fixed the Zap that day, but it was just I did it over the weekend, so they weren't in obviously to fix it while my sale was going on. But yeah, of course, like the one thing I didn't test, like I tested that my end was working properly, didn't test it all the way through, and of course it didn't work. But it's really sweet because I can, now that I have this, I can just sell one membership out of WooCommerce, and then I can control in Podia what they get access to. So I can have them, eventually I'm going to have, probably just give them access to all of our courses and products. Because like our customer lifetime value is just across the board is like $92. So if I sell one $99 membership, I'm increasing that. So to me, it doesn't really matter. Well, actually, like one membership sale works out to about $200 if you do the math, based on the retention and everything. So I'm like essentially doubling our customer lifetime value over time. So I'm just going to give people, I think what I'm going to do is every month I'm going to add another bonus until they're all in there.
Add or give?
Yeah. It's not
add.
They are doing this.
So it'll be
in addition to whatever they already gotten.
Yep, and the existing members were so excited. I went back and I gave them access to it as well. So everybody that has signed up at this point got access to it, and they were so excited. They were like,
Love the club.
"No idea you're going to do this. This is awesome." So I'm going to just keep doing that over time, probably over the next year. I'll just keep adding to that, and that.
Interesting.
Because where I want to go, I want to go to an all.
Are you giving all the products in the database? Is that what you guys are trying to do? Like all of your different products that you sell right now, you're gonna put them in the membership?
That's what I want to do eventually. Yeah.
So effectively, what you're saying is that you're not going to say, okay, now if you sign up, you get this other bonus. It's you sign up, you get all the bonuses that you've offered so far.
Yeah, like they're not going to be bonuses. Like they're just going to be the courses that are part of the membership. The tools, this is the toolbox you get as a member.
Right.
So it's basically an all-you-can-eat model, and that's definitely where I want to go. Like I think
you're gonna do Pluralsight soon.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be Pluralsight model, because the problem, like you can really only promote so many things, and it's very difficult. Like once you get more than a few things, it's very, very difficult to promote anything and give anything any kind of attention.
Agree.
So, and like when you do it this way too, you're also giving people a good reason to stick around, because they lose access. Like as soon as they cancel their membership, they're going to lose access to all this huge library that they have access to right now. So in addition to losing access to the community, they're also losing access to this content. So, I think it'll help me retain members. So even if they're not getting a lot of value out of the community, there's that like, well, I could, I really should be going through these courses, and so, so I think I'll be able to, like it's good because it puts a very real dollar value on what they're getting, right? I mean, like How to Market Yourself, we've sold thousands of copies of it for $300. So, there's like a real value, and they're getting it for $99 right now. I mean, I am going to be increasing the price. I may run it one more time at $99, and then I think I'm going to bump it to like either $149 or $199.
Whoa.
I'm a little scared to do that, but
it's doubling it in a day.
Yeah. Well, I'll basically warn people. I'll be like, look, next time the price is going up significantly next time I do this. So get in now.
Well, you can also explain, hey, look, we've added a whole bunch of value.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I've added like all this stuff. I've added, these 3 courses or whatever. And, so the value's gone up a lot. We have 300, we have 250 members now. By then we'll have 300 probably or more, 300 or 400 members. So the community, I've got the critical mass that I was looking for. Now it's time to start increasing the price. I was trying to increase it quickly. I mean, now we're getting like 30 to 50 posts a day this week. And we're up to up to almost 1,400 posts and like 200 threads. So it's definitely, clicking along. It's starting to get some good momentum. So it's time to start raising the price, I think.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking of doing is starting a mastermind group. Mastermind is in like a so yours is a mastermind group too, I guess, but more of where I actually,
it's not.
What do you call it? Forum?
I'm just calling it a community. Yeah. I called it a mastermind group initially, and I got some very justifiable pushback once it got beyond 10 people.
What were they saying?
Like they were like, this is too big to be a mastermind group. And I was like, yep, you're right. Okay. So I stopped using that term and have gotten no objections.
What I'm thinking is, I'm going to mastermind or whatever. Fair enough. I'm thinking of starting a group where I get on a weekly call, like weekly office hours, and help people with their online business stuff, whether it's starting guys or wherever they are. And I'm going to launch it with like a monthly price of probably $49 a month, and then take it up. Keep bumping up the price as we add new members. So there's always an inbuilt urgency as to what's happening, and potentially like add courses to it as well, like the existing courses, like just put them in there.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, like, because right now I'm doing a coaching drive, but as soon as that ends, I'm gonna go to this mastermind group, monthly mastermind group thing offer. So what's the best? What are the? I know I've been following this journey for all along since you guys started this membership thing. But what would you say I should do to ensure that I get good sales and get it off going? Because mine is a different format. It's more like office hours and my help rather than people helping each other, which I would probably get to, but not today.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing it. So the way that you're doing it is actually the ideal way. I didn't have that option because of John being gone. Like the way we should have started this was we should have started this last year. We should have done it with John. We should have had the weekly call. We should have had at least a monthly call. We should have had like get access to John, you know, and we could have probably built it to 1,000 subscribers in like, you know, 6 months. And then we would have had a really strong base, and then John could have like eased out of it. But we didn't do that because of the book launch and just kind of like everything. So I've been doing this on hard mode for sure.
You can move to another one because we have
making it work.
Okay.
I'm considering doing
something like that.
something a little bit similar once I get enough courses out, and just offering like a monthly membership where you can.
What's that? You're also considering it?
Well, I'm not looking at doing like any kind of coaching deal. But once I get enough courses and, you know, videos out there, I'm looking at actually.
I don't think if you actually need courses in order to sell a mastermind.
Yeah.
Well,
that
okay,
just
so
happens to be
I'm not looking at doing a mastermind.
one
I'm
way to bonus things.
membership.
Right.
I'm looking
Okay.
at doing a membership sort of like Pluralsight, where it's just you just get the videos.
So Chuck, the hard part about that is that you're basically there's basically there's two models I think that work here. One is the mass market Pluralsight model, which is what Derek was trying to do with Watch Me Code, and then the other is the more high-end mastermind, more personal attention, more expensive price. And I actually think that is easier to sell, easier to get, like, because you just have to find 20 or 30 people who really value your time, and they'll be willing to pay you a decent amount of money, versus with the other model, you have to find thousands of people and get them all to sign up for a subscription. And it's really difficult where subscription is really hard to sell. And the more vaguely defined it is, the more hard it is.
Yeah.
So what would be my shtick then if I did that? Because I am interested in doing something like that, but I don't know.
If I were you, I would probably start around this course that you're releasing. Like the place to start a community is if you've got a flagship course, you add that a component to that.
Oh, I see. So it's
maybe
Slack
don't even sell lifetime course. Maybe sell a membership only. And that's what you see a lot of these guys are going to, like John Lee Dumas and some of these guys. Podcasters Paradise used to be a course that you sell one-off, and now it's all monthly. There's no one-offs. So you can just straight up jump into memberships rather than course sales.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And give them, you know.
Yeah, the more automated, just like there, it's a dial. Like the more autopilot you want to make things, the more low touch you make things, the harder it is to sell, and vice versa. It's easier to sell one-on-one than it is to sell group coaching. It's easier to sell group coaching than it is to sell, you know, a course, and it's easier to sell a course than it is to just sell, like, you know, a collection of videos.
That makes sense.
So, because people want, especially now, like with the courses, basically people value a straight up video course at $10. So it's very difficult to sell. I mean, if you have a strong personal brand, if your audience has a lot of money, if they're a very, you know, responsive niche, you can get away with more. But I mean, Manny, you were telling, one of my members was telling me he's been going through Brian Tracy's funnel recently, and has discovered that he lowered his prices from $500 to $300 on his flagship course. So I mean, it's just like this downward pressure, I think, is affecting everybody. Everybody that's got like an automated funnel selling an automated product.
Yeah, selling automated is high price is not possible to sell automated. You do webinars, you do something like that. That's when you sell high price products. Automated, it's easier to sell low price products. Once you get to like $200+ price point, automated doesn't really work as well. I mean, we learned the hard way with the meditation course. I was able to sell to my audience, but I think I could have done much better if I had done webinar and stuff. But John couldn't sell anything because we didn't really have any way to build trust with the audience using a webinar or something like that. So
Right.
Well, and it's interesting you mentioned that because I've had a couple people email me about the course and ask what kind of support. Will I get email support? Will I get, what kind
what's
of
the course like? What is the end? What's the title or what's the overview of the course? What are you trying to do?
Basically, it's get a programming job in 3 months or less.
In 4 months or less?
3 months or less.
Oh, well, that's not a good membership because then you're going to lose people every
Right.
3 months. Maybe it needs to be structured in a way that you're going to be able to provide support. There's component where
I'm
it's like
thinking about that.
getting the job and then growing in your career. All of those components are built into it, so that way you're not just limited to get a job and then get out of here.
Yeah.
I have a
Then you
hard
can-
stop in about 5 minutes. So
I actually am being interviewed for a podcast in 20 minutes. So
And I'm going live on YouTube at 12 today. So, very,
but Manny, I think it sounds like the way you're doing it. We'll talk more. We have to talk more about it. But it sounds like what I've heard so far is that you're thinking about this the right way. So, like you kind of have the way I'm thinking about it is like you have to build. It's really hard when you're starting out. Like you're basically. I used the analogy this week in a video where I was talking about like rock climbing and how you hammer the spike in and then you pull yourself up onto that spike and you hammer the next spike and you just that's like what you're having to do here. You're having to build this and sell it at the same time. And that's like, it's hard. But I feel like I'm starting to get some momentum with it where it's like things are starting to happen now. And it's feeling easier.
Did you look at Stu McLaurin's thing?
I
was telling you about?
did. Yeah, I did. I
Did
didn't
you have
sign up
anything
for
good there?
those products.
Okay.
It was good. What I saw was good. It was helpful. I don't remember specifically what it was because I've been listening between him and the super fast James Shremko has a lot of good stuff too. Yeah, his stuff's all. I really like everything he says about membership. I agree with 100%. Like from all of my experience. Yeah, Shremko.
Shremko or Stu McLaurin?
Shremko. And Stu had Stu's stuff seemed to be in line with Shremko's.
So how much was he charging, Stu?
It was expensive. I think it was like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 a year or something like that. Shremko, I know, charges 3,000.
He was not selling a membership?
Stu, I think he was.
Okay.
Yeah, I honestly don't.
Your membership. Okay.
Yeah, I honestly, it was definitely a membership, but it was expensive. That was a yearly price, is what I was thinking. I know Shremko charges like $3,000 a year, or it might be actually he might be charging $1,000 a month now or something.
No, but he has different levels of that in that group, right? He has very expensive high-end memberships as well.
Yep. But yeah, basically Shremko I liked him because he took everything that I know about marketing that I've found to be true about marketing and business and just helped me see how to apply the pieces of it to membership. So I haven't bought anything of his yet, but I've been through like all of his membership podcasts and stuff, and they were all really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think membership is a definite thing down the line because it's just it's just you're on a hamster wheel if you're constantly trying to sell one product after another, and to some point the marketing takes over your life. Well,
and the complexity for me, what it was the complexity of all these automated funnels was just kind of crushing because if you change one thing, it breaks everything, and it's like it's all the bad parts of programming without any of the tools that we have to protect us from those bad parts. Like, like
there's no debugging involved.
There's no debugging. There's no test-driven development. It might take you 3 months to realize that a mistake happened. It's
like Crockford to watch write us a book, Marketing the Good Parts, and it'll be that.
I love it.
Having to constantly sell is a pretty bad place to be. There was one. Have you read this book, One Page Marketing Plan?
I heard an interview with the author. He was on Shremko's podcast.
Alan Dibs.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing he said that totally blew my mind. He said, products make you money, but systems make you a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I heard that, I realized, the mistake I'm making in this business right now, in the sense we have some like products coming out, but if there was systemization of these things, then it's a different, people have the best, people have burgers that are like 10 times better than McDonald's. Their product is so much better, so they're making money. But McDonald's has the system and they have the fortune.
Maybe that's your thought for the week.
That's it. That's my thought for the week. Products make you money, systems make you fortune.
You sound so
Love
smart when you say that. Say it again.
Products make you money and systems make you fortune. It's
Mic
real,
drop.
man. Like the
my
more you
business
think
coach
about
would
it,
agree
the
with
more
you.
you see it's all over the place, all around you.
I mean, that's the whole process you go through with this business coach is basically you figure out what you need to delegate, you build systems around it, and then you delegate it. I've been delegating a heck of a lot to Zapier.
That's actually been, I guess, my thought for the week will be. So I was journaling yesterday, and I was like, what are the things that I need to let go of that will actually if I let go of them, they will actually be done better than I could possibly do them myself. And the thing that immediately jumped out to me was the with the community. I can't be answering all the questions, and it's time for me to hire a couple of people to help me run the community.
Yeah.
And so I actually, as soon as I realized that, I actually put out a help wanted ad. I had already created a jobs and opportunities forum in the forum. So I posted my own ad in there, stuck a little link in my footer of all my posts. And I've got 3 people now, one of whom was a community manager for some other major programming site. So she's already done this before. She's excited. She's a new member. She's looking to get involved. So I'm gonna be working with. I've got 3 or 4 people now lined up who are volunteering to help out with this. So I'm gonna get them to. I'm gonna put a process in place for when new members come in. Like, how do we welcome them? What are the steps and everything, and just start to get a little team in place working on that, because then I shouldn't have to do that at all. Like I do want to be in the forum. I do want to be answering questions, because it honestly, the email or my email today that I wrote was straight out of a forum answer. Like I literally copy and pasted the forum answer, tweaked it a little bit, and I'm done. So for me, that's kind of a content pipeline. But as far as like keeping the engagement high and all that stuff, that needs to be delegated, and I've got the critical mass to do it. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
There's things you delegate that end up being, you accept that they're going to be done at 80%. And then there's also things you can delegate that will be done better. And so I'm looking for those right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and the more you can delegate, the more sellable and scalable the business becomes.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, my thought is going to be focus. And this is the thing, like the last 2 weeks, I mean, I've had crap come up this week, so I haven't made as much progress on the book as I want. But man, when I can just sit down and work on that, and I make it the most important thing, things get so much better. Holy cow! And so I recently reread the book, The One Thing, and they talk about spending 4 hours a day on your one thing. And this week, since I promised people they'd have at least a rough draft of the book out by Monday, I mean, that's my one thing, because I promised. My one thing going forward is basically going to be, those systems that'll make you a fortune, as Manny put it, for the podcasts, and just getting it to the point where that is all automated. And what that means really is that it's a commitment to Podwrench, and it's a commitment to writing these processes, and it's a commitment to Michelle, who's my production manager, and getting all that stuff in place. It also means that I'm going to be tracking a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about a little bit more closely, to make sure that podcasts are being released on time, that the show notes are the way I want them, and all that stuff. And, just kind of either tracking or scoring it so that it's like, look, this isn't up to, where we need to be. What systems do we put into place? What processes do we put into place to make it so that it's up to snuff? And, as I track that, I think I'm going to find some deficiencies in the way I do things, and we'll build processes to make that better. And the thing that's really crazy about it to me is once I have all that really nailed down, I feel like I can take that to other podcasters and sell it to them. And so it's funny because it'll free up all this time for me, and it'll be a product I can sell to other people.
Awesome.
But yeah, just that relentless.
We're all
focus
kind of
one
on
thing.
this interesting point where we're all trying to kind of do the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, John is chilling
All right.
out.
yes, there's John.
And John's thought,
All right,
Booze.
I gotta go. I'll see you guys
All right.
next week.
Yeah, bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.